Is it going? Sweet, it's going. Yay! Woo! Where'd I put my pen? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, new day, new ramp. This time, competition TV. What I mean by that is simple. TV shows where their entire premise is it's a competition. So this would be things like Survivor, Great British Bake Off, Chopped, Inkmaster, Destroy, Build, Destroy. Fuck, what are some other ones? Guys, Grocery Games. Fuck. I wouldn't consider that. I don't know, but that's my main premise. Is it's a TV show based around competition. Where it's a game. Not game shows. That's a different category. You got your Family Feuds, your Jeopardies, your Wheel of Fortunes. Those are game shows. That's your Hollywood Squares, that stuff. That's different. I mean competition shows. Those are because game shows, those are games. Those things you could play with your family, like with a board game or something that's fairly reasonable that you could do at home. Competition shows are different. You can't make 7 full course meals at home without spending a boatload of money. That's not so. So yeah, probably one of my favorite competition shows is Chopped. You can flip Chopped on whenever you want, and you don't even really need to watch a whole episode to understand. You can immediately pick out somebody and be like, I want them to win, and you can root for them. And you can immediately pick out somebody like, I can already tell that I hate them, and I want them to lose. Like, Chopped is just one of those shows where, like, you can flip it on and immediately know the individuals you want to root and hate. It's crazy, but it's a very interesting show because its premise is relatively simplistic. Here's a basket of random ingredients. You have to use all the ingredients, make a competent and enjoyable dish in a set amount of time. That's a pretty simple premise, all things considered, but it works so well. It works insanely well. If you're unfamiliar with the show Chopped, which is crazy, I think almost everybody's seen Chopped. You go to a hotel, it's like one of the first things you watch because that's all that's there. But Chopped, it's so good. So the basic premise of Chopped is you have 4 chefs. You have 4 chefs. And there's 3 rounds, an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert round. And each round, somebody gets chopped, and they have to leave the kitchen. So 4 chefs come out. They're all usually specialized in their own cuisine or own area of cooking. Although not always. Sometimes they have themed episodes where the entire premise is, these are all pastry chefs or whatever. Yet they still have to make a competent appetizer and entree. That are, more on the savory side than what they're typically used to and stuff. And those are pretty fun episodes, the themed episodes. But, yeah, 4 chefs come out. They all stand in front of their table. Then, they're all given a timer, and the first round is Appetizer Round, and they have 20 minutes to make an appetizer. But not just any appetizer. An appetizer that has to include 4 key ingredients. And those key ingredients come from the mystery basket. The mystery basket is placed on their work surface at the start of every round. They are told to open it and look at the contents. And then the show lists off the contents. And then they're like, go. And they got 20 minutes in the appetizer round and then 30 minutes in the entree and dessert rounds. And they just got to go. And they got to look at all the ingredients, figure out something to make with the ingredients, which often are really weird shit, and then just hopefully make it good. And it's such an engaging show. Because of the ingredients they throw out. They throw out some of the weirdest fucking ingredients. Like, here's the appetizer rounds. You have fucking squid, peppermints, fucking pasteurized goat milk, and celery. Go. It's just like, what the fuck? Those are just random examples. I don't know an actual basket off the top of my head. Sometimes the baskets are like, oh, okay, I could totally see how somebody could work with this. Other times it's just like, what the fuck were the producers thinking? Like, I get they want to make it a challenge. Like, the whole point of this is to, challenge their cooking skills. But this is not realistic to a restaurant environment. And no restaurant are you told, here's a random amount of ingredients, make something in 20 minutes. That's not the situation with any restaurant. Restaurants have predetermined out menus, that you've practiced for weeks, if not months, maybe even longer if it's been like a traditional dish in your repertoire for years. Like, they have preset menus, so you're never really going to be thrown off. Sometimes, people make modifications, but they're relatively reasonable modifications. And it's just like, Jesus. But no, Chopped is a weird show because it's not something that would ever happen in a real life scenario. It is very much for TV, and that's what makes it great, because they make it for TV. They make it absolutely batshit insane. That's what's awesome. A show that does a similar premise, although to a much lesser effect, is Iron Chef. Iron Chef has the secret ingredient thing, but because of the nature of the show and how it's set up, the chefs kind of know the secret ingredient going in. Not quite, they don't know exactly. Basically, there's like a set amount of ingredients, like 3 or 4 ingredients that are kind of out there that they have stocked up at their stations. So they can look ahead of time and see, okay, I know one of these 4 is a secret ingredient, so I'll have these dishes according based on that. So they have like 16 dishes planned out, 4 for each of the 4 ingredients or whatever. And then they get it and they're like, okay, boom, these 4. Or okay, boom, these 4. Depending on what the secret ingredient is. That's how Iron Chef works, if you know a little bit of the background of the show. But, it's not as interesting as Chopped, in my opinion. Also, it's a much longer show than Chopped. Chopped is a nice, concise 30 minutes. Iron Chef tends to be that hour-long slot, so depends on what you want. Now, Cutthroat Kitchen, that thing's hilarious. Cutthroat Kitchen is fucking hilarious. It's hosted by Alton Brown, and I love it. I love Cutthroat Kitchen because the show is so ridiculous. Like, okay, here's a dish you have to make. Run into this grocery, grab all the ingredients you can in like a minute, get out. Once you're out of the grocery store, you can't get anything else. You just have what you grabbed. That already alone presents a challenge because you have to make sure you can see, grab, and ensure you have all the ingredients in a minute, which is crazy. And they're given a predetermined dish that they have to make. So they don't have to think of a dish, but they have to think of the ingredients that go with that dish. So it's still kind of, a thought. But then the whole sabotage aspect of the show, where you spin a wheel or something, I'm not really sure how it works. Or no, you have a set amount of budget, and you can spend some of that budget to sabotage your opponents. And then the opponents get weird sabotages, like they have to walk on boxes, or they have to cut everything with safety scissors or some shit like that. Or they have to cook everything on a panini press or whatever. Like shit like that. It's very interesting because people have to think of ingenuity when it comes to how are they going to work with this new sabotage while at the same time prepare a good dish and not hurt themselves. And it's super fun to watch. I really recommend Cutthroat Kitchen. I mentioned a lot of cooking ones, and that's because the cooking ones tend to be the best, and also they fit the category the most. But one that's not cooking is Inkmaster. Inkmaster is a really weird show when you think about it, because it's a tattooing competition. Okay, it sounds somewhat reasonable, but the thing is, unlike a cooking competition where they can just throw away a bad dish, it's a tattoo. It's permanently in somebody's skin without significant treatment. That's insane. It's insane to think there's an entire competition where there's been, hundreds of people. There's like 13 seasons. It got canceled, I think, but there's like 13 seasons, maybe even 14 seasons of this show, all that are like 10 plus episodes long because you have 16 competitors and like one gets voted off every day. Although sometimes there's double elimination, sometimes people leave on their own accord and there's still elimination. So there's usually about like 13 or 14 episodes in the series because they end with 3 people. So you'd have to have 13 people leave. So yeah, there's usually about 13, 14 episodes in the series. So 13 to 14 episodes, 13 to 14 seasons. Let's just go 13 to be conservative. So 169 episodes, right? And you have, obviously, each time less and less people getting tattooed, but you have at least 3. You have at least 3 people getting tattooed each episode. So you have, God, it's an insane amount of people. That's, Jesus. That's like 500, over 500 people, like 507 people, I think. If I did my math correct. And that's the that's the minimum. There's probably been over 1,000. Over 1,000 people have gotten tattoos on Inkmaster, probably. Now, there are some times where they have, like, returning guests to do cover-ups or, like, some other shit. But I think that's the number, over 500, probably over 1,000, because I did 3 an episode. But there's obviously more and more each episode, so it's probably closer to about 1,000. Which is insane. 1,000 fucking people got tattooed on Inkmaster, around, roughly. And that's such a weird premise because the tattoos that they get on Inkmaster, they're tattoos, they're permanent. And some of these tattoos are like, it's not that bad of a tattoo. I mean, it's okay, but then you watch the critique of it and you're like, Jesus Christ, it's that bad? I thought it was okay. But no, apparently this line's fucked up, this line's fucked up, shading's fucked up here, the shape of this is wrong. Like, I would feel so bad to be a canvas and then get an artist that, like, poured their heart into it, they thought they did a really good job, and then then they go to the bottom, and then they're just getting, like, ham-fisted with, like, they're just getting pounded by the judges, and the other artists, like, this was shit. And then, but me coming off the table was like, oh, that looks pretty good. But no, it's just like, bleh. And then I watch it because, like, oh, I'm on Inkmaster, I want to watch it. And it's just like, wow, they're really tearing him a new one. They're tearing my tattoo. Yikes. And especially if it's on one of those seasons where there isn't the human canvas jury. That would be, because the human canvas jury, at least you get it right then and there that people think, yeah, it's bad. But imagine coming home, seeing the critique, and you're like, yikes. Fuck. Especially, like, seeing all the social media shit about it, too. Because, like, people are, like, tweeting and stuff during the show. Sometimes they have fan interaction with the tweeting and things. And you're like, this dude fucking sucked. You know? Or if you say you're not, like, that good when it comes to sitting for tattoos, like, you're a bit on the weaker side, and you're kind of complaining. And then, like, you're just getting lampooned on Twitter being like, this dude's a bitch, can't even sit for a tattoo. It's just like, what the fuck? It's a 6-hour tattoo. It's not the easiest thing. Especially depending on some of the sizes and the complexity of the designs that they do. I was thinking about being a canvas, but the show's canceled, so that's out of the window. Not to mention, you kind of have to be in the New York area, because they film the show in New York. So they really want you in kind of that New York, Jersey, Delaware kind of area, because then you're close. They don't have to pay for airfare, really. Stuff like that. But given where I am, yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm at 14 minutes, okay, that's fine. But yeah, Inkmaster's just such a weird show. Interesting. I really like watching it. I watched a good chunk of it. I try to watch seasons all the way through, but sometimes these people are insufferable. Like, they have some of the highest egos, some of the highest fucking anger shit. Like, I get it, you worked hard to where you got to, and art and tattooing is pretty difficult, you know. But, dog, shut the fuck up. Just go there, tattoo, shut the fuck up. If people say your tattoo's bad tattoo, don't say shit. Say nothing. I'm watching these shows, and these people are like, fuck you, dude, your tattoo's worse than mine. It's just like, shut up. Stop it. Shut up. Because you know for a fact, next challenge, somebody's going to be handing out those skulls, picking out who gets what who gets what client. And they're going to give you some of the worst shit to deal with because you were a bitch boy that complained or like said that your shit was top notch when it clearly wasn't. Just shut the fuck up. I do not understand. And then there's people that are like, I'm trying to play mind games, and they're like acting cool and shit. I think one of the guys' name was like Josh. I can't remember what season it was, but he was relatively tall and thin and had not shaved, but had like a buzzed head. And he's just like, I'm just playing mind games. I'm messing with y'all fuckers. No, you're being a dick. Okay? Everybody hates you. Nobody likes you. You're not playing mind games. Fuck you. Okay? I hate that shit. I hate when those fuckers like, I'm playing mind games. No, you're not. You're being a dick. Alright? Just shut up. Literally, just shut up. Just show up, tattoo, shut up. That's it. Okay? I get it's meant to be like this reality TV competition thing and you want drama, so the producers are probably pushing it a little bit. But dude, stop. Like, these people need to fucking stop. Now, the show's canceled, unfortunately. I really like the show. And the back catalog's still good, but they were kind of running out of innovative things. Not to mention people are cutting cable, and it was on Spike, then Paramount Network. Same channel, it's just they changed the name. That probably hurt them a little bit with people not realizing that Spike is Paramount, which, stupid. I hated that change. Spike used to be a good channel, but then they made it baby, right? Spike used to have just shows like 1,000 Ways to Die and fucking Mansers. Mansers was an amazing fucking show. To quote Mansers, can you fart so hard your balls explode? I fucking love Mansers, dude. Mansers was an amazing show. It took a very simple premise. What are questions that guys have? And then answered them. And they are 100% genuine questions that guys would ask. How fat would you have to be to stop a bullet? Again, that's an actual part of an episode. Right? Like, Mansers was the shit. Or, how hungry do you have to be to eat a horse? No, it's how long does it take to eat a horse? That's another part of the show. Like, the show had so much. What's the biggest handgun in the world? That shit, too. Like, it's so big it doesn't even fit in frame. Like, Mansers was fucking crazy. And I loved Mansers, dude. But due to the fact that it's called Mansers, and it was a bit on the edgier side in today's political landscape of toxic masculinity, Mansers is no more. Mansers is no more for a long amount of time, but I fucking loved Mansers. I wish they'd bring that shit back, but they totally can't. You can find a lot of the clips online of it, but it was just a bomb show. It was awesome. It's fucking crazy. It was like Mythbusters on crack. I loved it. And Mythbusters were already kind of fucking crazy, but this just took the premise of Mythbusters, kind of, and then said, what if we applied that to very weird, very dumb questions that guys have when they're drinking with each other? And they did it. And it worked amazing because it is such a fun show to watch. I highly recommend you watch clips of Mansers, stuff like that. Not a competition show, just something that was on Spike, but oh, shit, was it good. I'm about 19 minutes in. I think I'm going to cut it off here. Don't want the videos to go too long. Let's see. Yeah.